Hello and welcome to Dropzone 1, PUBG League's first-person duos tournament, brought to you by ViewSonic and Cooler Master. I'm Heyday, along with the Jabroni Bro, and we're in Week 3 of Dropzone 1.
Absolutely. Ready to go. I'm excited. It's Friday, which means it's duos, and I love duos. It's like a treat every week. Very quickly, though, let's talk about the prizes here for first, second, and third place. This is,
Yes, sir.
I believe it's 5 weeks overall. First place actually getting 2 ViewSonic XG2530 244 hertz gaming monitors. Second place, 2 Cooler Master Master Keys Pro S keyboards, and third, 2 Cooler Master Master Mouse MM520 mice.
Yeah, pretty awesome prizes and some pretty awesome teams so far. Some great gameplay for the first 2 weeks. Now we're here into Week 3. This is Game 1, kicking things off. And we have a shake-up a bit up in that Dropzone 1 leaderboard, as a few teams did manage to stay up top and place well last week, but a few teams dropping down as some heavy hitters are right on their tails. As you can see, this northwest to sort of southwest plane path, we're going to hit the military base there at the bottom, but it does allow some teams to kick up to the top there in Severny and work on that coastline.
Yeah, actually, we see Nop Nop and Purdy Curdy, which is the team of Totality 2, which is your current first place squad right here, the 2-0. They were heading towards Severny, kind of got pushed away as it's been challenged. We saw Katie Cakes and Zomb in a Box, a.k.a. Box Zombie, hitting up Zarky in the northwest. So this does open up a lot to play on this map, and especially with duos. And now we see the vehicle battle go down, and this could be a problem as Blastic was the first one to the buggy, and now QFT Zago is going to have to get in this water and try and get safe. Obviously, not worth destroying the vehicle, so he will let them get away, and they will head off to loot.
Yeah, I love it. This is a game of choices, right? So you might have that easy kill. You might want to wait till later in the game to make that happen. We still have 66 alive here. We're in an early circle, a not very damaging circle, which will allow these players a lot of time here at the beginning to loot up and then to shoot up later on. Kartoffel Soup there, we've seen him in some action earlier in the weeks. And here's Room, another very good player that we're taking the viewpoint of right now.
Yeah, Riam with BenQ5 is his teammate. That's Gale Force Esports here playing in this duo. And Kartoffel's kind of just dead middle in between both of these squad members. So Riam here next, after he finishes looting this building, as he's picked up the Mini 14 and the UMP, heading directly towards Kartoffel. So we might have a little skirmish here early in Pachinki.
Yeah, I like it. At this point, you have to wonder how far away do they have to be from each other there as they start to get peeky out the windows. This is where you really need to look and see what's around you in first-person perspective. But at what point do they hear those footsteps and know someone is there with them? These players are good enough to potentially see them dropping down with them as well, knowing they're there. And we've got some action down by Milta as well.
Yeah, Solace hasn't even looted a building yet, no weapon in hand, and he will be chased down by STG Gino, who has the handgun. He's going to have to dive for the water here. It's his only safe haven. And as you know, in the current state of the game, water is 100% impenetrable. You cannot be shot while you are underwater. So he will have to dive under and try and make his escape through the bay on the southern side of the main island. And a very friendly zone here has popped up as most of the main island is now safe.
You know, I know this isn't the case because we start these games up on a server without the server knowing who we are and what we're doing here. But it seems so that the first game of the night is always this very friendly circle, allowing for some very central gameplay. And then towards the end of the night, the server is like, all right, we're going to kick things off real crazy. But for right now, as you mentioned, pretty safe for teams to be looting and scouting all around that area. Milta on the skirts there, and of course Pachiki right in the middle.
Yeah, absolutely, and it shouldn't be too much of a problem for any squad to really get here. Even those on the military island have a little sliver of safety to the north, so they should be able to move around. But we see Gale Force, BenQ5, and Riam have pulled off, so Bukas Gaming and Kartoffel will be safe to finish their loot in Pachinki. They spread out a little bit. And up in Yasnaya, we see Smithy and DeCannon. Now, this squad we actually watched last week almost the entirety of one game because they were just in constant combat. And here we see Dag and Sevo. This is actually your current third place squad. And with the team name Gotta Be Better. A very awkward loot spot here, though, with these yellow houses right next to the little pond.
Yeah, I like it. And we've had a couple name changes as far as the teams goes, but as far as the leaderboard shaking up, Smithy and DeCannon, their totality team one, totality team two is Nop Nop and Purdy Curdy. And then up there as well, you got to see Armada Esports got to be better, and a few other teams that we've seen. I would love to see if this totality one and totality two are also their squad. But for right now, we're in first person duos here at PUBG League, and this is Dropzone 1, game one of the night.
Yeah, and Solenzo here, they appear to have gotten it down over in Milton, a little 2v2 combat, and based Hefe, I would assume it's pronounced, is going to have to try and make a play here with only a handgun against two other players to save his teammate. I think this might be one of those things, Heyday. This might be one of those, maybe we can back off this fight. Just try and make the play yourself. His teammate has gone down. I think you escape here. You try and get those points for survival.
Absolutely. I learned from Urban Dictionary that based means doing whatever you want without worrying about what others think of you. So going into a fight right there with a pistol is a good play for someone with that name. Whether he comes out of it or not, we'll see. But right now we got Young Modern coming off the hill, going into Pachinki. BenQ5 really low, getting a couple shots to the gut there as he's trying to flank around the building.
Yeah, the only problem here for Young Modern is I don't think he's realized he's actually cornered himself as he's being pushed from behind. So the shots come out and he will go down, and Young Modern has been eliminated. He pushed a little too far, pushed on top of BenQ5, and just walked right past Riem without even noticing. So Riem able to put him down from behind with the Mini 14 and a free level 3 helmet for Gale Force as they continue this game.
Yeah, that's great team play there. Great call to get your teammate back into position to help you out and actually get the kill as well. Those guys are really solid players. I'm surprised they're not up higher in the leaderboard. They're maybe in about 25th spot right now. Slex on the move as well. Some amazing penmanship coming out from the Observer right now, showing this stuff off. This is really cool to see. And we got Sideline Killer up here, hunkered down in one of these bunkers.
Yep, Sideline Killer. This is a very interesting place to be sitting. He's in the Wizard Tower, but this compound so far north, so many players will actually come up here. You don't think you're going to see anybody else while you're looting so far north. I mean, you're north of Stalber. You're in the northeast corner of the map. This is not a desired looting spot at all. So to have one player from two different squads in this position, a Sideline Killer just decides he's just going to hold it down and wait. If a push comes in, he'll defend. But besides that, there's no reason to take this 1v1. It's just a very strange situation to be in.
Yeah, it looks like his teammate is coming up from behind as well. So he will have some backup potentially there as QFT Zago is coming up and making his way through the trees. It looks like Slex is actually going to take a vehicle and try and get out of there, but they're going to get some shots on him and more communication coming from the team. And Zago is going to get some nice shots off. Slex having a really hard time getting up that hill.
Yes, Slex in a very dangerous position as he's lost 3 tires off of that vehicle. And there you go. Slex is taken down by QFT Zago. And no teammate anywhere nearby. I'm not really sure where the teammate is. So he will be killed off. And Solace has now returned to these buildings. This time with a micro Uzi. He's returned to his fight on the beach. STG Gino, though, puts him down right away. That's amazing. He actually swam into the bay, came out, looted a house, got a gun, and then met the same duo that chased him into the bay originally and was killed by them.
I love it. And I know we're looking with the overview here and the hindsight of calling these plays from the caster's desk. But, what we've seen a lot from teams that are successful is when they stick together and they get each other's backs. 2 times now in this game, we've seen teammates come to the rescue of another teammate. And sure, they've been 2v1 situations or 1v2 if you look at it the other way around. But still, you're not always going to win that 2v1 if you don't have that communication with your teammate and that teammate is somewhere near you where they can come and rescue you.
Yeah, definitely not a desired thing in duos, the split looting. We see it in squads every now and then as there's not enough loot spots to go around in squads. So you will, trash loot some smaller compounds, which is one thing. But in a duo situation where the looting is so spread out, not being by your teammate can be a very, very dangerous thing. Yasnaya still pretty popular. We have a crate down here, though, to the southwest. An M24 and 8x scope, level 3 military vest. The best part of this crate, though, the padded purple jacket.
I was hoping you were going to say that. My eyes went right to that. I skipped the rest of the gear and went right to the purple jacket. We are on Twitch after all, so it is appropriate. We've got some teams now finally making their way, at least sort of in the direction of the circle, as they are going from house to house, loot to loot, and taking advantage of this relatively safe circle early in this game.
Yeah, absolutely. You got to be patient, take your time. Sigsy cruising around on the motorcycle with Odin and Thor. Another very, very high caliber team, big fraggers heading in from the east over by Shelter. Cash and Kramer, actually the winner of one of the games last week, will pick up that crate that we checked out earlier. So they will have an M24 to play with. We have another crate coming down in the north as well. 55 players alive. And this zone's not even closed yet for the first time.
Yeah, absolutely. Here comes the crate down as well. This one's going to have some sweet stuff in there. Groza 762. There was a level 3 helmet and a med kit as well. That is in a very nice isolated spot up there, which has the potential of not getting touched to the later game. And we may even see the circle move in that direction. If so, that is going to potentially come into play for some late game action later on. We've got Lush there in the school, and the school not so much seen in competitive play, at least in PUBG League. Over in the other casting that you do you see the school being played out as much as
the way we normally see school is I only do squads. This is the only place I do duos. I've never done solos before. I'm sure it's more popular in solos, but in squads, we normally see one squad will take 2 players to the apartments, 2 players to the school. And it's very, very rare that it's contested. Every now and then we'll kind of have one team just commit full to apartments, and then it kind of becomes weird. But normally it's 2 to apartments, 2 to two to school, and they just spread out and they're uncontested for 10 minutes in squads.
Okay, fair enough. And we've seen that like pretty much completely avoided so far in solos as well. But of course, people like to watch their favorite streamer going crazy and YOLO into school, and they want to copy that as well. But
Absolutely.
Not so much here in tournament play. Looks like we are finally getting the majority of the players inside the circle. 55 left alive, and the circle moving in now. Katie Cakes and the gang up in the northwest are finally making their way in. Another name we've been calling out through PUBG League, solo play, and in duos as well.
Yeah, Katie Cakes and Zom in a Box, big fans of the city of Zarki. Let me tell you, they do everything they possibly can to go to Zarki as much as possible. The C and Outload still holding down. Yes, Naya Dag also have chosen an apartment with Sevo, his teammates. This is where we had Smithy earlier, so it appears the third duo that was in the city of Yasnaya has left.
Yeah, absolutely. And what I love about the composition of a battle royal and having so many different teams, so many different players playing. If you're in a MOBA, for example, you can anticipate where the other team's going to go. As we do have some action here, Sideline Killer and his friend getting shot, but they run over another player, and that's some action that was probably unexpected there in the middle of the map.
They ran over both. They ran over both players with that vehicle. That is a horrible way to have your squad wiped from a duo game. Coming around the corner, knocking out Encelenzo, and that's a big team to take down. Encelenzo, part of Sauna Boys, currently in 5th place. The double splatter with the vehicle, so crazy plays there. H-Right taking some Car 98 shots. Iron sight only, though, unfortunately.
This guy is a marksman from what I've seen in previous play, so definitely has the confidence to take those unsighted shots. Haba Baba getting shot up as well. It looks like the vehicles are maybe not going to be the most popular mode of transportation tonight, as we've seen people that have chosen vehicles are getting pretty lit up. Say 10 goes down with a headshot from the Mini 14, and he's another casualty to a drive-by.
Yeah, Say 10 and Haba Baba pushing up to those buildings west of Pachinki, and Gale Force, Benki 5, and Riem just holding down the roofs, waiting for exactly that to happen. So very convenient for Gale Force. They were able to get a quick kill. Kills are worth 1 point a piece in this series that we have going for the next couple weeks. And if you get more than 10 kills in a single game, you're awarded an extra 5 points. So those kills there, Gale Force off to a nice start here with 50 players remaining.
Yeah, nicely done. We do see a couple of the players that did manage to go and loot the military base, working their way up across the bridge right now. And if I'm not mistaken, we have not seen a 10 kill game yet. So those bonus points have not been awarded. That could definitely come in handy later in these weeks of play, as we've got the banana hammock suit here, Clubba Deluxe, running down the beach over by the apartments in Georgia Pole.
Yeah, an interesting place to run. It is a little bit of a hill, so most of North Georgia Pole will not be able to see him, but just very unfortunate. No cover if you are ever spotted out. Fire official doing the same thing down the main road. They're heading for the safe zone. But yeah, I don't think we've seen 10 kills. I've seen 9, I think, twice.
Yeah,
in the 6 games, right. But I don't think we've seen any duos hit the 10 kill mark in these games. A lot of people just kind of setting up here. We see L2B Lush. They're holding down the school, just peeking all the windows, looking around, trying to hold it on. A few players leaving Rozhawk right now. But it's a pretty friendly zone still. So much land to cover, so much real estate, a lot of buildings, a lot of cover for everybody.
Yeah, Katie Cakes and Zamba in a Box are making their way here in this UAZ. And they're pretty much uncontested and just going for a Sunday, rather than Friday night drive right now, as they're looking for some loot. A lot of teams converging on Pachinki, as that is the biggest spot to move to outside of Rozhawk there in the north towards the middle of the circle. We've got some action going on here on the top of this house, and some players trying to get the flank on each other.
Yep, some shots, and Sevo cruising away in the vehicle has taken some hits. Him and Dag both pretty weak here, and they're driving right towards L2P Lush at school. So that's going to be another tough turn for them, as Salt of Pepper are just peeking out the window here. We'll see if the shots come out. Both players at about 50 to 60% HP. They'll cruise by, no shots popping out. Dag, we've actually seen Dag in the past few weeks have some very great solo plays, as in a few situations, the teammate was lost and Dag had to try and clutch as far as he could and made some very, very serious plays. But now they're taking some more hits. Prodigy's taking some shots as they cruise by Gale Force once again. So Gale Force just being nasty in that building there west of Pachinki.
Yeah, people are getting really good at shooting at vehicles, and you've seen that tonight already. The Prodigy is lucky to not go down there, as Habababa is aiming down what looked like maybe an 8 times there, as the Prodigy and his teammate are moving on. At this point, though, you're going to see as Kala there is held up in those buildings in the middle there. These buildings are going to start to fill up as teammates make their way in. As the big spots like Pachinki get picked, these smaller compounds are going to be the places where people converge to try and get loot or safety. And this is where you're going to start seeing these meetups like this right here.
Yep, sideline pulling up, and Codnam trying to take shots out the window. The bar's making it incredibly difficult, so they were both able to sneak into that barn. Very crazy.
So unfortunate.
Yeah, so sideline is now, and QFT Zago now hold the middle barn. They're able to peek the windows. Shulk from behind, trying to get some angles, and Codnam just not able to get the shots too close to the window. And it's very weird when you're in first person. When you get really close and you're trying to take those shots, the gun is forced down because you're just too close. You can't hold the gun up and aim, which completely makes sense. So in that situation, a perfect opportunity to get a quick down is unfortunately not. It just doesn't happen because that. Now we have Commit here. A third player just kind of cruising around on his motorcycle, maybe going towards bar. Nope, just driving by, checking it out.
I like it. Yeah, the crazy part about that play with the barn in the middle is that the teammate actually flanked around the back, and I don't think they know he's there. So that could play out into a win for them if they're able to push that. But right now, heavily contested, heavily congested in Pachinki, as Shulk is taking some shots at Commit, who was riding that motorcycle around before.
There's a quick thing I want to just mention here. They had no idea Shulk was in that barn. He had not taken any shots. He had not making any plays. Even though that's a silent shot, Shulk gave away the fact that those players are cornered. And now they're both moving on Shulk right now and pushing into this barn for a 2v1. So I don't think those were very wise shots.
That was a very good point. He made a great play to move around the back as his teammate was shooting, even though his teammate missed. And yes, now they're getting very aggressive and want to make this push. They realize Codeman can't really do much from where he is.
Yeah, this is very dangerous now for Shulk. QFT Zago and sideline backing off once again. Codnam's got to push out and see if he can get shots. I mean, they're right there as they push up to his building. So now he'll have a 1v1 right now. It's QFT Zago creeping towards the bathroom, and the shots come out. QFT Zago incredibly low, did not connect. And there he goes down. not able to be traded out as he pushed in alone. Another very strange play. So kind of able to get the down, and now sideline is the solo. Shulk not going to come push, so we get another 1v1 that's about to pop out.
And he knows he must be coming at him as well. Here we go. We get the shots off, and the sideline's just shooting into the bathroom right now, trying to land anything, as COD is being very patient.
Yep, and here comes Shulk. The more patient that sideline is, though, the more dangerous this gets, as Shulk now taking shots through the window, sideline pushing up, trying to get the shots on Cottenham. And now it's a 2v1, and he's completely cornered. So he pops through the door, and he is taken down.
Wow.
I have to say, Heyday, I have to say, that was a mess. That was a messy, messy fight.
I'm glad we got to see it, though. You don't see that happen very often. The way that they looked so... Wow.
Yeah, Smithy, as Sevo and Dag ran up, Smithy still outside this Wizard Tower, just puts them down immediately as soon as they hop out of the vehicle. There are still players in the Wizard Tower behind him, and we have players in the red house across the street. So we have 3 separate squads being represented, as Commit playing solo is under pressure from Smithy and DeCannon, and we have 2 other players just chilling to the south. One actually going down, though. It looks as though, I don't know if that was Kramer that just got a kill to the south there.
Yeah,
it was Kramer with a frag grenade.
Nice. Nicely done, Kramer. And Commit's just waiting. He's going to get some shots off here. And he does get DeCannon down. Smithy's going to come up as well. Smithy's actually going to take him down and get the save, but his teammate does go down.
Yeah, that's a huge loss. They played it correctly. Smithy did play for the trade. When you're pushing up that one single staircase, very, very difficult to try and defend your teammate if he does go down, if he's the first one. Well played, though. He's able to get the safety of the Wizard Tower. He's able to get the loot. And Smithy, he's a good enough player to last as long as he can by himself.
Absolutely. And I think with so many players forced into what end up being these congested compounds, is that any shots are going to give your position away. And then not only the player you're shooting against, as Club at Deluxe is taking some shots here. I love that his suit matches his car. But everyone's going to know where everyone is. And we're seeing a lot of that here, as we're seeing a lot of crazy trading and a lot of not sloppy play, but unexpected, just chaos.
Chaos is a great way to put it. Zyphon just grabs a quick crate. He's walking away with the Groza, heading towards H-Right, his teammate. They're in a pretty good position right by the barns, east of Pachinki. Panaji actually heading up that way, looking for a nice place to call home. We see Riem taking more shots here at Club of Deluxe, as we get another vehicle driving by Gale Force, which is the trend of this game so far. The tire is out. He has now spun around Clubba, so he is going to have to either hop out yet, and he does hop out of the vehicle, and he will see if he can get a nice little flank here to keep himself alive. This is the player that was actually moving from North Georgia Pole earlier on the beach, has now made it all the way here.
I love it. And he's can thank that to the safety of his yellow outfit on that sand, which was clearly camouflage. He's actually making a move on these guys right now, pushing up on BenQ5 and Room. He's going to get eyes on Room. He's going to take him down, but he's going to be taken down as well by BenQ5, and BenQ5 is going to be able to get the pickup on Room.
Yeah, and that's another great team moment for Gale Force there, as they're able to get the pickup and the kill on Club of Deluxe. Valen and Kala now trying to find their way into the zone. They're going to drive right past Gale Force possibly as well. No, they're going to opt to get out and take it by foot, which is very interesting, because in squads, you almost always bring vehicles with you in this situation. They're actually heading right for Gale Force. So we should have a nice 2v2 here if Riem and BenQ5 keep an eye on the blue. But normally in squads, you would bring the vehicle with you. In duos, it seems these vehicles a huge hindrance so far in this game.
Yeah, absolutely. Everyone that's picked up a vehicle so far has taken at least some significant damage. And another thing to keep an eye on, too, is the health of some of these players. You see some of them now coming in the cups of the blue, and they're able to heal up. But a lot of players low on health, as Blastix gets annihilated by Odin Thor with the AKM.
Yep, and here we go. Kala and Venom now pushing directly behind Gale Force. Gale Force just started moving. They're about 20 meters behind them, just patiently following. They have no idea. Gale Force just has no clue how close players are to them right now.
True.
They're going to go. This is a great opportunity.
Sorry about that. This team seems to not have any health, or at least not wanting to stop to use it. And they are going to take some shots to get BenQ5 down. And Room is going to have to try and get him up now.
Yeah, he quickly returns by taking down Colin. Now he's going to put shots onto Valen, and they appear to be easy shots as he connects with the first 3. So Valen now one shot, and he's going to go for the pickup on BenQ5, forcing Valen to heal, which he is. and he's going to drop back and try and get the pickup as well. So very well done by Riem there. BenQ5 going down, but he's able to get an immediate down and put a ton of damage on the second player, so he has time to pick up his teammate.
Yeah, absolutely. I think the most impressive thing that I've seen from players in this game is the turnaround. Having someone get the jump on you and being able to turn around and put it back into your favor and come out on top, that's the most amazing gameplay to me, as we see some carnage going on here in this field.
Yeah, this is very interesting. Now we have the field east of Pachinki is safe, and then south of that, it's more or less a large hill / mountain. Velen here going for a flank onto Gale Force once again. BenQ5 taking some shots, does drop down and protects himself. Velen takes a ton of hits as well. None of these 4 players are down, though. All incredibly weak. BenQ5 and Riem now retreating, trying to get the health. Velen's going to push around once again. BenQ5 will have a little bit of an angle here. Velen might be able to spot him out. He's right behind this tree. They're right next to each other. And he sees him, and he quickly takes down BenQ5. Riem now is hit on, and he is taken down. So BenQ5 and Riem, Gale Force, eliminated by Velen. A very long, drawn-out fight, but very well done, as Kala will now go ahead and pick up Velen.
Yeah, absolutely. A bit more chaos, and I wasn't sure that they would come out on top of that. When Velen went up the hill, that was such a great flank, as it looks like now they're going to be taken out as well, at least very low at the moment. But it looked like such a great flank. I felt like he pulled the trigger a little bit too early and was maybe a little impatient as he got up there, but he turned it right back in his favor with some nicely placed shots. It was really well done.
Yep, we still have our top place team, Nop Nop and Purdy Curdy, holding down north of the blue in Pachinki. MLGB Biggie's also in here. H-Right's in here. This is a power-packed Pachinki, and all of these players are going to need to leave here in just 1 minute. So this should be very, very intense, as the first team to make their move is Nop Nop and Purdy Curdy. They're heading south through the city.
Yeah, it's all about consistency, Jabroni, in my opinion. And you see Nop Nop, these guys have held down this top spot for 2 weeks in a row, and now they find themselves in a top 25 situation. And he doesn't even have the upper hand here. He's shooting from below, and he's pushing on these teams like a team that has the confidence of being in first place for 2 weeks in a row.
Yeah, Nop Nop did lose his teammate in Purdy Curdy, but he does get the down in return. So H-Right will get that pickup, and Nop Nop will just go ahead and use this time to move south, get healed up, and try and get into safety to avoid this combat this early with 24 players alive. Dace Live also pushing into the zone. All of these players have to push through a very, very rough area, and that is pretty much an open field here south of Pachinki. Dace going first. He's going to try and make it. H-Right and Zyphon now healing up. MLGB Biggie has hopped on a motorcycle, and he'll try and make his escape, taking shots from H-Right and squad. And this is going to be a tough run. We see the motorcycle already smoking.
Yeah, already smoking. He's taking a few body shots as well. It looks like he's going to go right by another team here who are going to try and get some shots out. But he actually can push up on them right now. He's going to as well. Shoots the door out. And now it's a little game of cat and mouse here on this little shed.
Yeah, this is one good frag or nade. All you need here, Biggie. Come on, just pop it through that window and show them what's up. This actually is not safe. So all 3 of these players will have to leave. Very interesting. Nop Nop creeping here, looking for a spot. But H-Right and Zyphon already escaped. So Nop Nop is the last one to leave. He's eating some blue damage. Biggie actually just killed them both and won that fight. The 1v2 at the hut, Biggie won the fight, hopped back on his motorcycle, and now he's heading into the zone. Or no, he hopped into a Dacia. And here's Codnum from the fight earlier, taking some shots onto Biggie. Biggie avoiding them left and right, returning shots and quickly taking down Codnum.
What a shot. What a play from him. He's just, you know his adrenaline's pumping after taking that 1v2 in the shed. Now he's just riding off into the sunset in the Dacia. 12 left alive. He's taking more shots now. Cars, vehicles, they are just not safe tonight.
Yeah, Biggie, no fear at all, heads right for the center of the circle, but is immediately killed by H-Right with a car 98. Shulk taking some shots at Smithy. Smithy pops up and returns them even better. M4, 16 shots, takes down Shulk. All of a sudden, there's 9 remaining here, Hayden.
Yeah, 9 remaining. We're looking at Idan and Legendary. Idan's go down. I was just going to say how healthy they looked with their health bars, but some nicely placed shots. And Sigsy takes Idan out with the Scar. And we're looking at Odin Thor now. Some heavy hitters still left in the game. And that circle, just when we thought it was maybe going to play nice and drop a crate for some late game use, it goes directly south. And that's where we find ourselves now, in a slightly wooded area and some action going on now. Odin Thor taking some shots, 8 alive.
Yep, Dace is going to have to try and make it into the zone solo. His teammate has been eliminated, so he'll try and creep in and find some tree cover. Sigsy's looking for him but cannot find him, but he is the only one in the zone. Zyphon and H-Right moving in from the north. They have a nice little spot. Unfortunately, they're in the road mostly, so they're going to have to pick left or right here. Taking some shots onto Dace, who's prone behind the tree. The mini aimed right at H-Right.
Yeah, we've got a couple... Sorry, go ahead.
No.
Yeah, we got a couple solos left in Legendary, and Smithy on the cuffs there. Zyphon as well, taking some shots. H-Right coming in, and Legendary low. Legendary is going to go down to Smithy. Smithy with some nicely placed M4 16 shots.
Yeah, Smithy outside of the zone now healing up. It is 5 line. It is a 2v2v1. Smithy being the solo. He is going to actually have Odenthor and Sigsy pop up right near him. And he actually just dies to the zone. So now, oh no, he doesn't. He's still metting up on his skull. Okay, that makes sense. He is killed off by Sigsy though. So it'll be a 2v2 Sigsy and Odenthor taking on Zyphon and H-Right. This is a power pack 2v2. This can go either way. Tons of kills for both squads.
Yeah. And very, for how this place is, and you can see beyond the blue there, it's a very open field. But right here, while the hill is open, the trees and maybe even that vehicle there will play for some really nice cover here in this final fight. H-Right and Zyphon have the low ground, but it does have some really significant cover there. And it looks like they're using that to flank right now and try to get an eyeball on the enemy.
Yep, there's 2 ways to play this, staying near your teammate and doing what Zyphon is doing right now, and that is going for a bold flank and looking for that crossfire. It is a 2v2. I'm sure they are not positive of that. It could always be a 2v1v1. Zyphon has now spotted out one of the players to the south, so he does have eyes. He did officially find one behind that tree, and it was Odenthor. So Odenthor and Sigsy up on the high ground, not in the zone yet. They will have to move down this hill, and that's going to be dangerous.
Yeah, they're making the side steps right now. Odenthor is going to take some shots. Surprisingly, looks like he missed the first few. He's going to back off now, but he's actually going to go down. H-Right and Zyphon with some nicely placed shots. Sigsy, though, he's coming right back at him, and now it's a 1v1 with 2 downed bodies.
Oh, and Sigsy's able to pull it off. And there you go. That's our 11 kills. Sigsy able to clutch the 1v2 against H-Right and Zyphon with some insane shots. The Groza aiming down, staring Sigsy in the face, but he's able to pull it off and take Zyphon down. So Sigsy and Odenthor taking game 1 with 11 kills, Heyday.
Yeah, 11 kills total there. And we saw, as you mentioned, some real heavy hitters in that top 10 there, finishing things off here in game 1. This is week 3 of Dropzone 1. Don't go anywhere. We've got 2 more games coming up, and these are brought to you by Cooler Master, ViewSonic, and PUBG League. We'll be right back in a moment. Stay tuned and listen to the sweet, sweet tunes here on twitch.tv Tier Monster. See you in a bit.
Like this and like that, like that.
Hello and welcome back to Dropzone 1, the first-person duos tournament brought to you by PUBG League and powered by ViewSonic and Cooler Master. This is week 3, and this is game 2 about to kick off now. I'm Heyday here with the Jabroni Bro, and we're about to get started in just a moment.
Yeah, game number 1 tonight. Very exciting. Sigsy with the 1v2 clutch at the end. Really exciting game. We saw tons of fights, tons of really good confrontations. So game 2 popping up here. We got all the players loading in. The plane is about to pop, and it's going to be a nasty one.
Yeah, I'm really looking forward to it. We saw a couple standout things in that first game. To me, there was a lot of drama between players and players in cars, vehicles. It was not the ideal way to get around in the last game. Players and vehicles suffered a lot of casualties and significant damage from other players who were in some really safe, comfortable spots in the big circle. We also saw that staying together as a team definitely paid off, although some clutch 1v2s also happened, and just a lot of all-around chaos kicking off in game 1.
Absolutely. Plane is in for game 2, coming from the southeast, kind of going a little bit northwest, not too much of the north part, though. So we do have a lot of things playable here. The only thing that kind of is a little bit of a stretch is a beautiful Stalbert and city of Kameshki. Zarki is a little far off as well. It's playing hug the south. We see some teams flying over to the beautiful city of Lipovka, some heading towards Mansion, some towards Crater/prison, whatever you want to call it. Milta Power, though, looks like it may have gotten skipped over.
Yeah, that's a pretty interesting switch and skip up as you see Sideline Killer doing a little push and go on the parachute there to try and get out to the coast. And some players already have a Baba there and Zergo on the coast as well, making their way down. This is an interesting flight path. You're going to see a bit on military base. You're going to see a good amount split across the center. And that southwest area that we haven't seen a lot of play is going to get some action as well, as I see Dag dropping in, and they're going to get a car early on.
Oh, no, Smithy, not like this. Oh, Smithy just dodging, getting hit by Dag. Dag is hunting Smithy down. This would be a huge loss this early. Smithy and Dag both going for the vehicle. Dag was able to get the better drop, and now he's just going to torment Smithy for a little bit here, driving back and forth around him, trying to see if he can get that hit, and he almost gets it there. This is, wow, this is the fact that he's not just driving away, that we got to watch that was incredible. But Smithy does escape. Very well done. The jumps were well placed. The jukes and the jives, the little head fakes here and there. So he will live another day.
And that's good for him, too, because his team is currently in 3rd place. And to finish anywhere but in the top 10 right now and keep that consistency going would not be ideal for these teams. The teams up top are trying to stay there. The teams below are trying to make their way up. And so far at the end of game 1, in week 2 here, we saw some of the heavy hitters, some of the big names that have been consistent throughout the couple weeks, keeping their spot up in the top.
Absolutely. Habba Babba is the first elimination of this game. And here we are in South Georgia polls. We have Prodigy and Monty Python 16, and then McSmackle. And halfway here, I like the name McSmackle a lot. They both grabbed the priority buildings on the northern side of Southern Georgia Pole. So a little bit of contention here, but look at this zone up north. Severny safe, shooting range safe, cuts out a lot on the south. And very interestingly enough, we had a plane that very much hugged the southern side of this map.
And getting back into the action here, we do see a very northward circle and some teams pushing up toward the north even further now as the direction is going that way. The teams that opted for the military base in those southern spots will have to make their way up. But as again, you mentioned in previous games, Zombie and Katie Cakes loving that northern territory.
This is actually super funny because they jumped and grabbed a vehicle over by the Rozhok area, tried to drive to Severny, were contested by 2 players, and now they're heading all the way to Zarki. So when we say that Katie Cakes and Zamadabox really like Zarki, we mean that they really, really like Zarki, and they will drive there no matter what.
Absolutely, and they're making their way there now. Lipovka getting some action as well. Sideline Killer making his move, and Severny seeing some action as well. Nop and his team are sitting well. And there is a lot of teams over in Georgia Pole, so we'll see how that pays out as well.
Yeah, absolutely. Monty Python and Prodigy now heading over. AK and Mini 14. Prodigy with an M16 and Mini. Pretty well kitted for just hitting a few buildings up here. And silenced Mini. He's getting a little extra fancy here. I like it a lot. Heading down to the other priority buildings. It's likely that we see McSmackle also head this way, unless they opt to just grab those apartments for safety. But these buildings, very high importance. We see so many players going there first. Shadox will grab a little crate as it literally falls directly on top of his head. Still no helmet for him, so kind of weird he would be approaching a crate in this situation.
Yeah, as some people are going to opt to potentially find the one in there, or have the faith that they'll find it in one of those surrounding buildings as well. But all alone, it is a lucky pickup for him. And as we could see, different to the previous game, we could see the players very spread out here. So we'll see how that fares. We have 63 left alive on that first circle, 2 minutes about coming in.
Yeah, and here we go. Zaven's actually heading towards that crate, not realizing that Shadox just grabbed it. There was an M24 and multiple 8-time scopes too, followed by a med kit. So Shadox just got to kind of walk away with it, and Zaven's over there thinking he's found himself a great little gift in just north of Rozhok, and they literally were 20 meters away from each other. But here we go. Base Hefe is actually really close to Shadox, and he might spot him out here. So we see the head was peeking over the hill, didn't notice it. He's heading up to his squad mate. And Shadox, you just got to let him walk past. They're just walking all the way to the crate, and it's just already empty. But Shadox takes a big hit in the background there. Shadox is one shot away from going down now.
Yeah, that's tough to see. And you really need to make those decisions early on. That's what this game comes down to, is those choices you make, when you make them, and when you decide to go. We saw in the last game some players taking some late routes to the circle did not pay off. The circle did some serious damage, and getting to an empty crate is one of the worst feelings in this game. Yep. Absolutely. So as they're making their way through, they need to think about when they push on this stuff, when they push on buildings, and when they decide to engage.
Yeah, Based, Hefe, and Zaven easily will walk away from this one, though, as they pick off both of the players that had everything from the crate. And who's creeping up but Smithy and DeCannon? So they might try and make their move here. And Rozhok popping off a little bit early as we see one duo already eliminated. The crate now lies in the hand of Base Hefe, as he will have an M24 with a beautiful 8 times to his name. And it's kind of strange because we did talk about the fact that it's weird to go to a crate when you don't even have a helmet yet. You know, you don't want to push that and just take one shot. And in that situation, Base Hefe actually just rained down, got a headshot and an instant down because that player still had no helmet. So now they'll walk away with an M24.
It's a great thought, you know, and as I said before, and we could say it again, you know, we're looking at this from the perspective from the sky and seeing the action go down and being able to make these judgment calls on players that are in there in the thick of the action. You know, hopefully we're all playing the game, so we know what that feels like to be in that situation without that helmet and having to make those choices. But at the same time, it does go to show that you really need to think about your safety first and then go after the luxury items after.
Yeah, absolutely. That is the most important thing here. And that's where you're going to find your points in this series. You're going to find them in your placements. So Katie Hicks and Zombiebox actually very strangely contested in Zarki. Shulk has made his way up here. Blackie has made his way up here. So we have a little bit of contention here. Shulk and Blackie holding down the southern side of Zarki. They will have to move into the zone soon. But I love this zone. South of Severny is now, with this new warehouse, the new building set up there, it has become one of my favorite places for final zones, for final fights. It's so open, so much tree-to-tree combat, a lot of sites, and in first person where you have to peek to get that information, it just creates some incredible combat up in the north.
Yeah, and it's really pushing that way. And we do see that some teams are still taking their time down south and will have to make their way up north. But what I would like to see out of Katie Cakes and Zombie over there is that's their turf. And they need to stake that turf out. They need to claim it for their own and really take it. And, you know, being uncontested is one thing, but when someone comes into your area and starts trying to take away from your precious loot, you know, you have an option, fight or flight, you know? So I would like to see them fight, take that over, and really gain that confidence of holding down their turf, their spot.
It's actually really interesting as we see, wait, that crate is identical to the last crate that we saw. It's an M24 with 2 A times, a level 3 backpack. and a med kit. It is an identical crate to the one we saw in Rozhawk. Very, very strange. I've never seen that before. But yeah, it's actually interesting that you say that you think they should defend their spot. When I do primarily cast squad games, and something that becomes almost routine is the looting. And the reason is, if a team commits to go, all right, we're going to go Pachinki this game and next game and the game after, and over and over and over again forever. So every other squad learns and they go, okay, we know if we go Pachinki, they're going to fight us. So it's one of those things where you can kind of lay down the law in your own looting territory and say, hey, you're going to be stuck here with me for the next couple weeks playing these games on this map, and this is my spot. Every time you come here, I will fight you.
Yeah, absolutely. And this is a point I didn't get to before because it was cut off by some action. But in a game where you have 5v5 in a MOBA or something, and you can sort of study games that the other team is playing and figure out where they're going to go and at what point in the game they're going to do certain moves and push on certain areas. But in this, there's so many different spots like that to choose from, and so many different teams with different drop patterns. So it does shake that up a bit, but at the same time, those patterns are still there. And yeah, I mean, you either have to decide to go in and push all these people out of these areas and take what's yours, or just make your way around the corner.
Absolutely. And here we go. Shulk is actually aiming in on Katie with the mini from below, the Silence mini. Zombiebox and Katie have Shulk in between them both, and then Blackie off in the back as far west as possible. So this fight in Zarki is now popping up. I've not seen a fight in Zarki in a cast in months. This is a beautiful thing, and I cannot wait to see this end. Very, very interesting fight. And all players very well equipped here. We have ARs all around. Blackie actually opting to use the UMP in this situation over his M4, as he has that silence, so he'll be looking for some shots. Shulk has creeped up a little closer to Katie. Zombiebox right near Blackie, so we could have two 1v1s as the blue does push in over this fight.
Yeah, it's great as they start to go in. And what's great about tonight is that we've seen, I think I can speak for you, some action, some chaos, and some fights in some areas that we don't normally see, which is very exciting. And is why I love this game, is that you keep coming back to it, and the map is the same. The amount of players is usually the same. The equipment and the loot is here and there, most likely the same. And by the end of the game, when you're all geared up, definitely so to a certain extent. But at the same time, no one game is the same. And it's great that way.
Yep, and that is exactly what you want. You want every fight being different. And it is something so interesting with Battlegrounds that you get, that every fight is so different, regardless of where it is. Even if it's on the same terrain, just like you said, it can be on that same terrain, but you're playing different players. Everyone has different gear. There's so many little factors that change every little fight. So every way you play this game, every game you play is so different. And the door is open. Katie Cakes is taken down by Shulk. Pretty close for the Mini 14 when you have the hollow on. It's great for taking shots. So now Zombiebox is going to have to try and make a play. She is pinched between two players, Blackie and Shulk. But in order to save Katie, gonna have to try and escape this house.
It's a tough spot to be in, and this is that other part of the decision. I mean, fortunately for them right now, they have a circle in their favor for the most part. It's something that they can dip out to fairly quickly if they need to. There's probably even a boat on the coastline there that they could pick up. But at this point, too, once you start mixing it up with some players in an area where you're normally used to looting free, it really cuts down on that loot time. And you do have to make that decision to get in that fight or to push on and try and get to safety.
Absolutely. So we see Katie Cakes and Zombiebox eliminated. And here we go. Nop Nop and Purdy Curdy with H right across the street. Now, this is very interesting because Nop Nop and Purdy Curdy currently sitting in first place with 335 points. H right across the street sitting in second place overall with 304 points. So a little bit of a standoff here just south of Severny. That, a little pot shots here and there. We most likely won't see a full push as the zone pushes a little more to the east, holding down. We have some players, and here goes Oz pulling right up on Salt Pepper, and I believe L2P Lush. Yes, they're pulling up right to these buildings here, right on top of the hill, southeast of Severny. Lush peeking out the window, looking for shots. They have been spotted out, so they do know there is a 2v2 going on. Fire official looking for angles.
Yeah, I love it. I love the league format. I love how this is played out because it makes a little mini season. So we have our first game or so, which or our first week rather, which kicks things off, and we see who is trying to get the jump on everyone else and make a name for themselves and push themselves above the rest of the competition and really make a statement. But as we get into weeks 2, 3, and on to 4, we start to see how this shapes out, and we get these little microcosms of players that are right next to each other on the leaderboard and right next to each other in the game at the same time, and how that plays out and how that's going to potentially affect the point system if one of those teams comes out with the kills and gets to move on and hopefully stay alive into the top 10 or so and take home some really nice points.
Yep, absolutely. MLGB now a little bit to the west of Yasnaya here, creeping on the bridge, acting the little bridge troll method that a lot of teams use as Comet and Jamesy Boy flee to the north. So very interesting. MLGB has been playing incredibly well as of late. They're a very strong team. And seeing them in the duos, they've done very well in the past few weeks. Last game we actually had, the first game of tonight, MLG Biggie with a quick 1v2. He was making a lot of plays and actually got a top 10 finish for his squad. So it's really good teams. Gale Force out here in the middle of a field, kind of. They're up on the hill. So not much for buildings. They only have a couple little huts, but a lot of cover between rocks, between trees and all that. And they could honestly head over to this crate if they wanted another. Okay, this can't be right, right? This can't be right. Another, wait, is something broken? Something's got another M24? Okay, it was just wrong. It was showing the old ones. I was like, this is not, there's no way. So an M249, level 3 backpack, a med kit, and that wonderful padded purple jacket in this crate up here.
Yeah, just a little visual bug, no big deal.
I was checking so worried.
Sometimes the RNG wants to favor us, sometimes it wants to play with us. But MLGB, I was checking them out. They actually have a pretty sweet team club, I believe in Vancouver. It's really cool to see these esports cafes and esports clubs popping up all over the place, and how esports as a whole is just taking off and allowing for gamers to get competitive on a level that people couldn't even imagine before. And we're seeing it here tonight. We're seeing some great gunplay, some great action as we are moving on to what I believe is circle number 2. This is 0.75 damage per second. And so it's going to start hitting those people, those players that are on the cusp of the blue pretty hard at this point.
Yeah, Dag taking some shots at Allode as we have the C in the background with the M249. An M249 and a Mini 14 cruising around in a duo situation. It's not a bad kit to have. Dag looking for his shots with the AK. Sevo trying to get angles with his M16. Peeking out the window. Does get some nice shots towards Allode, but does not connect. He also has an AR suppressor. A lot of silencers I've been seeing in these past 2 games. Very interesting there. The M249 is an interesting gun to peek with. Got the 4 times. Looking for shots. A UMP to follow up that for the C. Another very, very good player. And this is the fight in Severney. Only these 4 players, a 2v2. One on the east side of the main road, one on the west side. So an interesting fight as Blackie and our Zarky winners head over top to the north on the beach. And the M249 shots now come out, and Dag is actually knocked out. So Dag is down. Nice shots from the C, and here comes a 2v1. This is actually interesting because when you get a down in a 2v2 situation, do you push, or do you need to win this fight? Do you need these 2 kills, or can you just say, all right, we got the down, we won the fight, we're going to hold our spot, we don't need to push?
Yeah, it depends what you're looking for, and it definitely depends on the situation. But it also, in the back of their mind, do they need the points or not? And that's going to come into play maybe in the choice that they make. But a lot of times, yeah, just depending on the situation, if you have the upper hand, if you know that the teammate is not there to help get them up and to fight you off, maybe you go in and you get that easy kill. But yeah, definitely situational. And we've seen it play out some pretty nice tonight. Some nice firefights with some great pickups on players that have gone down.
Yeah, absolutely. And Allode was able to get Dag through the window. So Dag now has been picked up twice. So he will bleed out even faster when he's down for a 3rd time. Sevo here trying to defend the staircase, holding it with the M16 with a suppressor. Very interesting gun to try and hold the staircase with, but that is all I believe he has to use right now besides a Saiga. And he's looking for some shots. He had some shots on Allode and does get them. Does connect. So Allode is now down for the first time. And the C is peeking. Almost took out Sevo there. So that'd been very interesting. So this is now a 2v1 the other way, and we'll see if the aggression comes out and they try and make a play, and they do, and here comes Dag pushing around the corner, and he will get the elimination. And this is what we talked about. You have the opportunity to either push or just be patient and take the down that you have. Dag, when they got that down and it was a 2v1 situation, they were like, no, let's finish this fight right now. He pushed out, pushed around the wall, takes the shots, and they get the elimination. So Dag will win the beautiful city of Severny. MLGB Scurry looks as though he disconnected. Rest in peace.
Yeah, that was unfortunate for them, but a nice push by the teams there. And you had mentioned suppressors earlier, and I've been seeing so much more suppressor play, not just in competitive, but also in streamer play. But yeah, go ahead and talk about the action here, but then let's talk about that some more when we have a moment.
Yeah, I'm sorry. Odin Thor with some crazy SKS shots, actually able to drop 2 players out of that passing Dacia, and then he will go and pick up the kill on the disconnected MLGB Scurry. So STG Gino now holding down the warehouse on the top of the hill as Sigsy and Odin Thor look to pressure.
Yeah, so back to suppressors. I didn't see these so much in play in my own games, in tournament play, and in in the top level play. You would see suppressors coming out on players that were lasting into the late game every game. But here we're seeing a lot of suppressor play. Is the drop rate increased? Or do you think they're just really good at finding those suppressors and putting them on the guns they need at this point?
I think it's just turned into such a high priority that players know that the suppressor is arguably the most powerful attachment in the game for any gun, because nobody in their right mind, when you get shot from an M16 from 400 meters away, you have no idea where it's coming from when it's not. Like, you don't have a clue. And then you're on the wrong side of the tree. It's terrible. Geo taking down Kartoffel. And I think it's become such a priority that these players will literally, if they find one, even sometimes for UMPs and some SMGs and stuff, they will pick it up and they'll be like, I'd rather use this silenced gun than this one, or I'd rather use that than this. And they're making it a priority to stay silenced, to stay stealthy over anything else. And I'm not sure of the drop rate. I wouldn't personally know, but nothing that I know of. And there we go. Geo using that M24 that we talked about before does get a nice shot with it. Actually, he was 1 shot away from being down when he pulled the trigger there. So very nice shot out of him. So Connor Poe and Geo will grab some loot. They will heal up and they will keep moving. The zone is now holding down just east of Severny.
Yeah, it really does come to just the meta, if you will, and what players are picking up and what they decide to keep, what they decide to leave behind. And knowing that they're getting kills with the suppressor and not getting any return fire from around them is definitely a confidence booster to pick that up and put it on your gun again.
Yeah, absolutely. And here we go. Zizbree now pushing it on H-Right, holding down one of these wizard towers. He's about 25% HP. He has his M4, not enough though. So he goes to peek and tries to get the shots up, but H-Right will be eliminated by Dace Live. And Zizbree, unfortunate for H-Right, it was a tough situation to be in. He was very weak. He tried to opt for some sneaky shots out the window, but they did not pay off. And now look at this zone. There's not that many players left. 29. This is a huge map. But the problem is when you get this far north, no buildings, so much open land. Trees are really the only cover that you have, with the exception of some defilade up on the mountain to the east. The zone, once again, going almost dead center of the past one. Shulk here playing the beach. He's in the water looking for shots. He's got the silenced mini that we saw over in Zargi, a 4-time scope, and he's trying to take some shots at these players in the water.
Yeah, this stays land-based. There's going to be some mountain areas, potentially some steep areas that could come into play as well. I'm not quite sure if this is going to stay in the water. I believe it's going to push southward as the players are going to need make their way in. This is starting to hurt now on the players itself. 1.5 damage in the fourth circle is going to start to tick up. And it does look like there is a crate there. I missed if that one was from earlier, but that would be a very nice find in the late game for these players coming in.
Yeah, Shulk here still opting to play the beach. Sideline killer looking for an angle, but look at that. There's just this perfect little hill down that if you run the water side, very hard to be spotted out. So sideline killer not able to put the spot on Shulk. Blackie, however, out in the open, so we'll see some shots come out from sideline. He might have to opt to swim, and he does. He dives right into the water, and he will swim towards Shulk and get into that safe zone. And our players, Severny no longer safe. So Dag, the winner of Severny, will be heading east, and they will get into this new zone. Connor Poe healing up a little bit, and looting a little bit, still rocking a Tommy gun. So I feel bad for Connor Poe. I despise that gun.
I do like how you say that 170 won the town, won the area, because that goes back to what we discussed before about holding down your turf and how there are little victories in the overall war, and to remember that you're playing a game even if you don't win that chicken dinner. You got to remember those moments in the game that did work and learn from them and take those into the next game as confidence and as tactics.
Yep, absolutely. We just saw DeCannon and Smithy eliminate Gale Force. Riem and BenQ5 both going down by those little houses that they were kind of rolling. Oh, no, BenQ5 is still up. I'm sorry. We just saw Riem, who was down, get eliminated. So it is a 1v2. Smithy and DeCannon taking on BenQ5. That was my mistake. I apologize, BenQ5. BenQ5 going for a little bit of a flank, get some shots out. No cover, really. He's got to push back to these trees. DeCannon and Smithy have spotted him out. He's taking some hits. The 1v2 is on, though, and he is taken out by Smithy. Now, that was interesting because BenQ5 did not need to take those shots. He could have kept moving away and could have went for more of a sneaky play, but instead, being confident in your shots is a positive in this game, and he did connect a little bit. Unfortunately, unable to win the 1v2. And now we see Connor Poe taking some mini shots towards Smithy and DeCannon.
Yeah, with Room and BenQ5, expectations for them to be higher up in the leaderboard at this point, I believe, but they do get served by Smithy and DeCannon, who are making a very strong case for themselves. Smithy won the overall solos league that we had previously to Dropzone, and now he and his teammate are sitting in third place and looking to push their way up as well and get that sweet loot from Cooler Master and View Sonic.
Absolutely. So sideline here, they're actually pushing away from the safe zone. QFT, Zago, and Sideline. They're heading right towards Comet, who is currently solo with a Car 98, and in a little bit of a battle here with Jortsky and Ensolenzo. Jortsky with the AWM, I believe, peeking down. He's got the 8-time scope set up, so this could be a nice little three-way fight. And QFT Zago is the first one to be taken out as Ensolenzo spots him over there. Now Comet taking shots won't be eliminated by Ensolenzo, so now all of a sudden it's a 2v1 against Sideline. They were coming here trying to make some plays on some loot, but QFT Zago was taken down, and now Jorski's got the angle. He's going to take the... Oh, he's not going to take the shot. He's being patient, looking for the one shot. Sideline now takes some shots from Ensolenzo a little bit more to the east now, looking for the angle, and if he can just connect on this one shot, and he will, and Jorski gets the kill on Sideline Killer with the AWM, and all of a sudden Ensolenzo and Jorski just dropped 3 players in a matter of 20 seconds.
I love it, and they picked their shots, and that's what you mentioned. They had an opportunity to take a shot, waited on it, waited to take the safe shot, got the one hit, one kill, and very nice decisions there made by that team. And it definitely paid off. And as you can see, the players need to get into that circle, and at the moment they're not in it. They need to get moving.
Yep, this is when it will start chomping violently. First aids become even difficult to get off. Nop blowing up the vehicle in front of him to try and create some cover as he's found his way into the zone. We are down to only 11 left as the Prodigy dies outside the play zone. Monty Python dying off. Salt-N-Pepa finally killing off Purdy Curdy. Blastic dying outside the playoff. And look at that. Now we're down to 9. Salt-N-Pepa trying to drive around, but he ran himself over by jumping out of the vehicle too early. So Salt-N-Pepa will go down. He was taking a lot of shots. The only chance is to hope when you jump, you don't take that much damage, but that is not what happened. Nop here still using his self-created cover, shooting out tires, so his feet are covered a little bit more.
Yeah, seem to be down to a few solo players now in the end of the action, and who's going to make it. It's going to depend on who gets the best cover here, and they're going to have to make some decisions very quickly on how they approach this final circle so that they can get some well-needed cover. It's going to be mostly trees, some bushes, and a little bit of the mountainside, which is what they're going to have to choose from.
Yep, absolutely. Jorski here still using his AWM, trying to find his way into the zone. Blackie and Shulk still alive. Our Zarky team has made it into the top 8. Nop a solo. Here we go. Tons of shots onto Sigsy, and Smithy will take out Sigsy. A little bit of revenge for last game. Nop and DeCannon scoping in a little bit, and DeCannon knocking out Ensolenzo. Jorski knocking out DeCannon, though, with the AWM, and DeCannon getting killed off. So now we are down to 6. as Smithy is also killed off. The AWM shots from Jorski this game out of control. He drops 2 more players. So he will now try and get the pickup on Encelenzo. So it's a 2v2v1. Nop the solo, Blackie and Shulk a duo, and then Encelenzo, who is now getting picked up, hopefully by Jorski, to be the other duo. Nop will try and med in the blue. I don't know how long that's going to last for. This is going to be the 2v2 fight, though. Encelenzo needs to get a first aid off. He is not in the safe zone. If he doesn't get this off in time and he stands up and starts taking shots, he's actually just going to go down again.
Yeah, this is going to be tough for them. They are sitting currently in 9th place, and these points would be great for them either way, first or second. 2v2 here, 4 left alive in this circle. Here we go.
Yeah, and Blackie looking for a little bit of an angle. Nop still just medding outside the zone. And Blackie's looking for him because Blackie knows there's a 5th player. There's somebody missing. But this is the 2v2 fight that matters. Nop is never getting back in the zone. I do not think he could possibly get up and run and not just die out. So here we see more shots coming out. It seems as though we have an M24 on one side and AWM on the other, or we might just have an AWM. Oh, Nop now dying outside the play zone, so he'll get 3rd. So it is the 2v2. AWM shots are out. Tons of shots hitting Jorski. That is a thin tree to be behind. He does not have the cover. Jorski may go down, but he does not. Shulk getting knocked out by Enzelenzo. So now it's a 2v1. Jorski was under a lot of pressure, but he should be okay. You're going to try and get the pickup on Shulk. He does have the cover, so Blackie will get the pickup on Shulk, and here comes the push. Enzelenzo and Jorski now pushing in. The nades coming out. The nades might end this game. But he does get the pickup. So the 2v2 is back on. Jorski pushing for the flank. He sees Shulk. He takes down Blackie. Shulk's laying right there and is able to take out Jorski. So now it's a 1v1. Shulk going for the shots, but does not get them. Enzelenzo and Jorski will take 1st place. I have to say, that was a very intense game. And there we go, another 9-kill game, Heyday.
Yes, very intense. Very well played by a few of these players to get some big kills and to not only finish in the top 10 and get the points that come with that, but to get those kill points as well. 5 for Jorski, 4 for Enzelenzo. You can see Shulk and Blackie rounding out 2nd place with 3, and you can see it drops from there. Although at 5th place, Sigsy and Odin Thor, 8 kills between the 2 of them. So definitely a deadly duo. They just got unlucky there in the end in that chaos. Don't go anywhere. Stay tuned for Game 3 of Dropzone 1, brought to you by PUBG League, Cooler Master, and ViewSonic. I'm Heyday here with the Jabroni Bro, and we will be right back. Hello and welcome back to Dropzone 1, the first-person duos tournament brought to you by PUBG League, ViewSonic, and Cooler Master. I'm Heyday here with the Jabroni Bro, and we're about to kick things off here in Game 3.
Yeah, Game 3 coming at you. We had a really awesome zone in Game number 2 there, northeast of Severny. Open land, I love it. No buildings for cover. We're using rocks, we're using trees, we're using the long-range sights, so a lot of fun. I really enjoyed that one. And I really got to say right now, Heyday, a lot of consistency in a lot of these squads. Smithy, H-Right, the Cannon, Zyphon, Enzelenzo, Jorski, Purdy Curdy, Nop. We're seeing some really consistent play out of a lot of these duos.
It's absolutely the key, in my opinion. Consistency in a points-based league is crucial. Finishing in the top 10 consistently with a win here or there is going to ensure that you're going to find yourself fighting for one of those top 3 spots. We've got some great prizes from Cooler Master and ViewSonic that are up for grabs here, and we have another very central cross-cut flight path here that's going to find players again being able to work their way up to Georgopol and Zarki, and then all the way down to Milta, and it looks like some might play for the military base as well.
Yeah, very strange. We actually had 2 squads jumping head right for Zarki originally. We see Sigsy and Odin Thor here chilling at the hospital just south of South Georgopol, and our 2 Zarki teams seem to be heading right that way. QFT 0, though, and Sideline Killer kind of opting for the road, looking to grab a vehicle, and 3 duos will be holding down the city of Pachinki.
Yeah, I like it. Consistency we talked about. We've also talked about teams, whether they split loot or they stay together. And so far, as you mentioned, you've seen in squads, teams need to pan out and to separate and to go pick up that loot, as there's not enough for all of them in the close quarters of those buildings. But in duos, rather, you do have the option to stay together. And we've seen that pay off so far, not just with the loot, but with teams getting the upper hand on the other teams they come across in some pretty crucial 2v1, 1v2 situations.
Yep, absolutely. We see a little bit of the trash loot head holding down in the east, but Pachinki once again is kind of where it's at, as we see Zaven RL and Based Hefe, a duo that are split up between a few other squads, one holding down the southeast, one over on the west. Very surprising, though. Based Hefe here with a shotgun trying to move around Oz and Fire Official in the line, in the way of him getting to his squad mate. So he keeps going further and further to the northwest, but he's moving right towards another squad in Kartoffel. So this is kind of awkward. Base Hefe here moving around. He's got his UMP, he's got his silencer, he's got his red dot, he's ready to go. But without that teammate and in between 2 duos is just a really tough spot to be.
Yeah, it really is. And he's going to be lucky if he comes out of this, not to take anything away from these players, but there's strength in numbers, as they say, and it definitely is the case here in duos. As your teammate is the person to get your back. And, you know, Army of 2, any way you look at it like that and you make comparisons, you're going to find that having someone on your backside to watch your flank, watch your 6, especially in first-person perspective, is going to pay off. You can see these players are moving up on each other now, and shots are going to be traded.
Yeah, and this is the best thing that could have happened for Based Hefe. Right now, we have a 2v1 push into this little shack, and that was easy for Fire Official and for Oz. They barely took any damage. 1 shot was taken, and there's Based Hefe now peeking through. So one of the 2 duos that was in his way is now out of his way, and he puts some shots onto Oz. So now he has a clear path to get to his teammate, but his teammate opts to push up to him. So we might have another 2v2 fight holding down here in the city of Pachinki.
Yeah, it's great. He waits it out. He goes about his business, lets the other teams engage. I mean, he may not even have known that they were there until they started fighting. But the fact that he now is only facing 2 enemies, one of them half health, as opposed to the 4 of them that were there, it's amazing how what looks like a very dire situation can turn around in just an instant.
Yep, absolutely. Zaven here moving around with the SKS. Fire trying to hold this window with an M16. He's got his red dot equipped. Oz moving around with a UMP. So they're all fairly kitted enough, ready to go for this fight. Zaven has moved up, so now he is looking for some angles himself. He has his SKS with his 4 times. Kind of strange, though. Only an SKS could cause some weird fights. Oz is now pushing across and is able to get across the road. This is really bad for Zaven, as he only has an SKS to defend himself. Not the best for close range. Based Hefe has now jumped down. He has his double barrel. He's seeing on the angles he can get, and Zaven will go down to Oz. Oz is now 1 shot away from being down himself, though. And we see Based Hefe now pushing all the way over to Zaven to try and get the pickup, which is actually very, very smart of him, as he did sneak by. But you got to get this pickup right away. And Zaven did not do a good job of getting out of the way. He's still just sitting down in this long haul type of thing. And now here comes Oz. So they are pushing on this. Oz and Fire. And Base Heavy is going to see what he can do with his double barrel. He gets down 1, does not get the second. He has to reload. Oh. It's not going to be in time. So Oz and Fire Official will win both 2v2 fights. And now they are the sole owners of Pochinki.
That was so clutch there and very exciting to see. He almost pulls it off. He gets the shotgun blast. And if I were to rewind that, and if that team were to rewind that and maybe how they would approach that better, maybe you have your teammate with full health lead the charge around that corner. Of course, it's going to depend on the weapons that you're packing as well. But having your teammate with full health charge around the corner is going to give you a better chance to survive the shotgun blast and get in there and get the kill. That still, they manage. They get the kill. They do get 2 wins in there now, as you said, and now they're sitting strong, not just with the run of the loot there, but with a good amount of kills already at a very early moment in the game.
Yep, and now we head down to Primorsk, a little bit heated down here as we have 3 squads, all of which will have to move into this zone that once again holds the city of Severny. And even, I think Kameshki might even be safe in this situation, which is very interesting. But we have Sevo, we have Dag. They're holding down the southwest portion. And Katie Cakes and Zombinabox once again right around them to the north, or to the northwest and the southeast. A little bit going on in prison as well, as Shulk and Blackie looking for some shots on a Connorpo. Connorpo actually taking down Blackie with the SKS. So that'll be an interesting 1v1 over in prison. A couple fights getting ready to pop out here, and here we go. Katie Cake's now pushing up. She's getting very close to Dag and Sevo. She's spotted Sevo, so she does back off. Sevo has not seen her. Sevo pulling a little bit, and now she puts on the shots, hits 1. That's just dangerous. Now they've been spotted out, so Zomba's going to have to move over.
I like it. Very clever. Pushing up, spots the enemy, switches the weapons as she retreats a little bit to safety to do that, and they're actually going to get the down as well. So nicely played on them. And I do want to point out that they are not in their normal loot town, which they definitely could have gone to with this flight path. So we did notice that in the last game, they met up with some other players who contested that area, an area that they're used to having the run on. And so maybe that was a factor in what they decided to do now, maybe not.
Yeah, Dag now the solo in a 1v2 situation. Sevo has not been killed off, though, which is kind of strange. Katie will kill off, but Dag looking for some shots on the window does not connect with Katie. So now it's a 2v1. Zombinabox took a lot of shots there trying to use the silence UMP. Katie now goes down to Dag. Dag might have to jump the window here and push. He's going for the Saiga. He's peeking. Zombinabox has to med up. So this 2v1 is now turned into a 1v1. Zombinabox only bandages and only a silence UMP. So this is going to be a tough fight. Definitely at the disadvantage now, holding down the lower ground, trying to push up. Dag is now peeking out the window. Zombinabox cannot get the shots off, though. Blocked by that window, so he couldn't move. So Dag will now go downstairs. He's going to push outside. He's going to push outside the south door, and he moves outside. Zombinabox is setting up and taking the shots. The Saiga shots come out and do connect. So Katie Cakes and Zombinabox are eliminated. Dag barely makes it out with his life.
That was impressive, and that was a nice flank there and a very nice push. We've been talking about it all night in those situations. Do you get that down, and do you taste the blood and push on it, or do you wait? He waited patiently for the teammate, because in that point, even though Katie Cakes was still alive and Zombinabox was around the corner there, he knew that Zombinabox had to either flee and leave Katie Cakes to die or go in and try and get that pickup. As soon as he goes in, he runs in to finish them off. It was very nicely played. Odin Thor has just been laying down fire all night, and it's happening here again with Sigsy.
Yeah, Odenthor and Sigsy look in very good shape. They're all now one of these compounds here to the north. 53 players remaining. Salt-O-Pepper has to bail on his vehicle as the tires have been absolutely destroyed. So Lush will come back for the pickup here, and they will have to find a home of their own. But yeah, the aggression out of Odenthor and Sigsy in these games tonight have actually been very, very out of control. They're in a really nice spot here just west of Yasnaya, just north of Rozhok. And look at this zone. We have more players going down as Velen is now down and is trying to be picked up by his teammates, who will be Kala looking for that pickup. They were dropped from, I believe that is Monitorius and Tomshi, who are now pushing up on the down, going for the 2v1. So we'll see if Velen can get picked up here and the 2v2 can come back.
Yeah, I love it. We've seen a lot of action so far in Dropzone. And for a game that has its moments where the complainers are going to complain about the pace of the game and people camping and people hiding and so on and so forth, we've seen some real fire coming out of these players here in the Dropzone tournament.
Yeah, Tomshi immediately dropping Velen once again. Velen had no idea Tomshi was up there. A grenade comes out. I don't know. No, the frag a little bit short and actually flips the Dacia back over. So Kala now one shot away, though, and the 2v1 push is pushing right now. And Monitor is pushing on the right flank, and they will get the elimination. So Kala and Velen will go down over by Melta Power. But that one grenade popping the Dacia back over, they can now hop in there and drive into the zone.
I love it. That's one way to do it. As we've seen Nop Nop fleeing from, it looks like Salt and Pepper there. Nop Nop very low and looks to be alone, but safely in the zone up north as he's going to push potentially on this compound here, which looks like it has a pretty curdy. That's actually his teammate there. So he is indeed not alone. Does have some backup. We have some action here on the bridge.
Yeah, Cash and Kramer from Aether United in a little bit of a battle here. Cash going down. PJV with the knockout is now picking up his teammate. So it is currently a 1v1 with Kramer in the background throwing frags out. Hopefully they reach past. Oh, that was a really good frag, but it dropped into the water. But it did still hit PV for a ton of damage as one off. And he will turn the corner and take the shot. But no, he got ran over. Noobsy out of nowhere runs Kramer over. So Cash and Kramer are eliminated.
That was amazing. He clearly had the upper hand on those two players, both with just a sliver of health. And Nobsy here with his teammate just out for a Friday night drive come in and ruin the day for that player as he goes down in what would have been a phenomenal 1v2 situation. And then with the pickup potentially there. The blue, though, is pressing in. It's 0.5 damage per second now. It's going to start to hurt. And now we're getting some action in some of these smaller compounds as the players are forced up north and into the central part of the map.
I can't believe Nobsy just got that. Was insane. I didn't see that coming at all. And all of a sudden, you see Kramer go down. He was hit by a vehicle. Absolutely nuts. So Odenthor still holding down the same building with Sigsy. So many players moving north. And look at them all move north of the water. That's very important to note because those are your choke points, avoiding the bridges as much as possible. So you want to get over them as soon as possible. BenQ5 going to pick up Riem right now. That is Gale Force there, taking some shots from MLGB. It's a little bit of an intense fight there. They found a cute little hut to hang out with each other in. An Mini 14 and an AK by their side, and a little bit of a fight up here with Sideline Killer and QFT Zago taking some shots at Lush and Salt-O-Pepper.
Yeah, Odenthor couldn't be any more central to the circle right now. They're in a great spot, and they're great shots. So to be able to sit there and really take advantage of players trying to find some safety in the circle, and you definitely hit a good point there. As these players are forced across bridges, they're forced in these choke points of the roads as they try to get to safety. And these guys are going to roll up on some dangerous action here, but it's another 2v1 situation. And what looked like the jump with that Zago got on those two players, they actually get the jump on him and he goes down.
Yeah, and they're both going to be able to full med because Sideline was not close enough. That was an easy 2v2. If they were ready for that vehicle to pull up, that would have been 2 easy kills. And if Sideline was there, that would have been a really easy cleanup. But he's able to down Prodigy and put a ton of damage on Punaji. So he's going to have to push around here and see if he can get these 2 kills. And he will. He will be aggressive. He will go for the flank. Punaji pushes out the same way. Does see him. So we will have the 1v1 here. Punaji versus Sideline. He's pulled out the shotgun, takes the shots, does connect, and Sideline goes down. What a beautiful headshot with the shotgun, the S1897 for Punaji. And look at the HP on Punaji right now. It is an absolute breeze from death.
Yeah, just absolutely non-existent there as he comes around And what should have been, as you mentioned, an easy 2v2 situation, as the car pulled up, they did have the upper hand on them. It turns into disaster for that team there as they got split up for what seemed like just a moment. And those are those tough moments in the game where you're sitting there, you're sitting in a good spot, you have the safety of a compound, you're well looted up, and then one of you decides, hey, I'm just going to go check out this one other little spot here and see if I can find that suppressor or see if I can find some meds. You split up for just a moment. Another team rolls in out of nowhere, and then it all goes crazy.
Exactly. Gale Force will opt to take that new warehouse. And very quickly there, while you were talking, we saw Sigsy with like the most casual kill of all time. Vehicle runs by, he pulls out the scar, tap, 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 dead. Easiest kill of his life. Didn't even hit the vehicle. All shots on the player. So we see Adanius here looking for some angles with Solace. They're holding down one of the most popular compounds in the northeast of the map. The only problem is a lot of buildings, so it really lets multiple teams hold it down. Monty Python now taking a ton of shots. Him and Prodigy trying to move to the north. They're looking for a home. But of course, we know from the last game, not many homes here in the north. So they're going to push up right onto L2B Lush and Salt to Pepper, who are now holding down this building. Oh no, it's just Salt to Pepper now. Lush not here. They're just going to drive right past. He's going to hang out in his gas station. No reason to pull the trigger.
Yeah, it doesn't let them know that he's there. They might even come back because of that. It looks like instead, though, they're going to creep down to the beach, get behind some rocks, and get meted up here, trying to get a bead on anyone in the compound. He does get a bead on him, but that player is going to jump down before he can get a shot off.
Absolutely, Monty Python. Just the Car 98 with the 8 times is one of my favorite things in this game to have. If you can't have an M24 and you can't have an AWM, just break out the Car 98. A little bit of pressure here by Jorsky and Ensolenzo on one of these compounds. They're looking for some shots. They see Sigsy, actually. Jorsky has turned around and has spotted Sigsy out, so he's looking for some angles to the south while his teammates looking to the north. So they're just holding down this little shack. Sigsy all by himself, just chilling. No reason to leave his beautiful compound.
Yeah, and these guys picked up some serious points in that last game. They're sitting in second place right now. So to be aggressive, to be going for not just for the win, but for some kills at this point is definitely, I think, in their game plan at this point of the game 3. We got 42 left alive, and we are here in the second circle still. 0.75 damage. It's a really big circle, but as we've seen all night, these circles are really forcing the players into some areas where they have to rush on compounds and either hold them down or get shot at like this here.
Yeah, Sigsy, it just has no patience at all. Everything that drives past him, he's got the silent scar and he's going to take the shots. We see Jamesy Boy trying to make his way into the safe zone. He is all by his lonesome, running in, no vehicle. AK and M16, though, not that bad. He does have the helmet, the backpack, and the vest, so it's not like he doesn't have anything, but being alone, running into the zone this late is very tough. 42 players alive right now, most of which right to the east or southeast of Severny. And now we got Say10 that's under a lot of pressure from Fire Official, who is now actually knocked out from outside. Who was that? That was Ensolenzo from outside, saving Say10. So Jorsky and Ensolenzo are now putting the pressure on. Say10's just going to hide in that building. Oz is now picking up Fire Official. So this is a 2v2 with a 1 that just happens to be hiding upstairs. More shots coming out from Ensolenzo. Wow, they saved Say10's life.
Yeah, that's crazy, and that's fortunate for him and not fortunate, rather unlucky for the team of Awe and Fire Official there, as they're just trying to make a move on Satan. They're trying to take over this compound and get to safety, and all of a sudden they're getting shot from behind. Satan right now, he knows they're in there. He knows they're lurking around. He can hear the footsteps for sure. He just needs to wait and see if they come up the steps. He knows they're getting shot at as well.
Oh my God, Heyday, is that supposed to be pronounced Satan?
Satan, yeah.
I have literally read that like 45 times in the past 3 weeks, and I did not notice that. So
Satan, yeah.
I'm sorry. I feel like a buffoon right now. But the zone is up.
It's a lot of names.
Yeah, well, they're all tricky. All right, they're like little games that they're playing, and I don't even realize I've been saying Satan the whole time, and I feel stupid. But All's in Fire still putting the pressure on Satan, who is holding down the second floor of this building. And yeah, this is what happens when you're this far to the north. There's just not enough buildings to go around. The silence grows, though, in Fire Official's hand. That is a pleasing gun to be holding. And look at where Satan's holding, though. It's very interesting. He's not holding the left where he can peek down the staircase. He's letting the players know that if they start pushing up the staircase, oh, it looks safe. I don't see anybody to the right or left. And they pop up and he'll be right at the top of the stairs just waiting. So I don't even know if they know he's there. He has not moved in quite a while. So doing his very best to stay silent.
Yeah, and this is one of those buildings with no windows at the top, so he can't be spotted by the other players up on the hill and potentially shot at. So he's in a relatively safe spot. We see some players still in Yasnaya on the cusp there, riding that blue into the circle, and Satan just being very patient, although they're throwing frags up, so they do know he's there.
They definitely know he's there, and he just has to sit there and eat them. I don't know what else you're supposed to do, and he does. He just sits there and takes it, and now they're going to push up, and what did he leave? Was he just AFK there?
He
didn't even try and move.
Yeah, he walked a little bit, it looked like, when the grenade
I think he got bumped by the grenade, and the grenade launched him. I don't think he actually walked. So I'm not sure. We may have had a disconnect there for Satan, but he definitely did try and move a little bit. He did move over to the staircase before that, so I'm not sure what happened, but we saw no effort to take any shots there. And Blackie's now taking some shots. So we see Zyphon get knocked out of the vehicle with his car. They are really good at shooting vehicles, Heyday.
Yeah, absolutely. We've seen it all night tonight, and I think maybe Satan was just off making deals or something, and didn't get a chance to make a play there. Although he did have the jump on him. Those were some nicely placed frags, which did take his health way down. As you can see, Prodigy here getting the heal up. The plays on the compounds and the plays on the vehicles tonight have been unreal. They've actually been very exciting and a huge part of the outcomes of these games. Who decides to take what they think is potentially a safe travel across the land, and then here again, just getting immediately blasted from all directions as they take the car.
Yep, and Blastic is the one that is getting blasted. Blackie and Shulk putting some shots on him. Also had some players to the southwest putting some shots on him. And they're just going to opt for the water, because where else do you go when you are getting shot at from all angles? You get in the water and you dive under and you pretend you are a fish because you are safe there. It's a very good strategy if you need to absolutely stay alive. The unfortunate part of it is those eventually you're going to have to leave the water, and that's when you take a bunch of shots and you normally have no cover. So halfway hero moving across hill ahead into the new zone. They were holding the Stalber Mountain for the most part. So they're going to creep west, and yeah, 37 players alive. And it's very interesting because we lost a lot of players early in this game. So right now when we're getting into the fourth, the fifth circle, kind of around there, it's kind of a slow moving pace, a lot of space. These players can kind of move around a little bit. Everyone feels safe. We just have a couple skirmishes here and there.
Yeah, definitely a bit different from what we see in the rest of the night, where players were really forced on top of each other. There are a couple goodies left in that crate, as we see Gino here looking to size up some of the players, and he is going to be sized up himself. Monotorius comes in. This is going to be a good fight. Monotorius ends up going down. Gino with about half health. His teammates around, though. Tomshi coming up, and this could be a good 2v2.
Yep. Well, Monotorius is now taken out. This has very quickly become a 2v1. Tomshi looking for some shots, but still in blue. STG Gino, one shot away from going down, but he'll be all right. He's trying to creep into the zone. He's gotten safety. He's going to have to med up now. Now Tomshi all alone. So Tomshi's going to creep up into the 1v2. Level 1 helmet. He has 2 M4s in his arsenal. One, I assume, with a hollow sight. One maybe with a more of an ranged optic scope. STG Gino looking for the spot, and he does, but Tomshi able to return some quick shots of his own with that M4, puts Gino down. So now Nobsy has to make a play here. Nobsy pushing up, the grenade was coming out, and Nobsy's taken down from elsewhere. Shoal kills him.
Wow, we've seen a lot of that tonight. It's been really crazy, the crossfire that's come out of the game, and how teams have saved other players from potentially going down. Tomshi was in a rough spot there in that 2v1. He did have some nicely placed shots, so he did help himself out there. And it did look like he was about to throw the grenade, but Nobsy, a good player, and coming at him in full force.
That's a fight right in the middle. We have Purdy Curdy and Knob, your current first place team. Gale Force pulling up, and then Fire Official coming out of nowhere just to ruin it all with his Groza. And he does, but he is eliminated. So BenQ5 is down, and now it's just Riem against Purdy Curdy and Knob. Riem going for the pickup on BenQ5. All they have to do is peek under this, though, and they should be able to get rid of him. But it looks like he will get the res. Riem able to get the pickup. Oh, no, the nade was close. So Purdy Curdy and Knob there kind of saved a little bit. They didn't really know what just happened. They heard a bunch of shots on the side of their building, never really had to shoot back. So Gale Force will now met up behind the trees over here before they go for the push back on to our first place duo.
Yeah, and it's interesting how that goes down like that too, especially the feeling you get when you get rolled up on like that by someone out of nowhere, and you're able to turn it around and get healed up and focus back on your objective that you're originally going towards. So nicely done for them. Definitely having some confidence going forward, as Encelenzo is going to get picked up by his teammate.
Yep, Little Prodigy holding it down this tiny little shack, but he is in the zone, which is always a nice thing. So he'll try and defend in this little 1v2, taking some shots at Enzelenzo, cannot connect. MLG Biggie is killed off elsewhere. Tomshi is also killed off. So they're both eliminated. Jurski and Enzelenzo, though, in a 1v2 situation here where they need to push up. They want the safety of the shack. They want the little bit of cover in the new zone. So it's something very interesting on when they push up. BenQ5 and Riem are actually pulling around. It looks like they're going for their push right now in gas station. So Purdy Curdy and Nob Nob both looking for angles. And here comes BenQ5 to the east, and he has spotted Nob Nob and does take him down. So now it's a 2v1. Gale Force against Purdy Curdy all by himself. They're going to try and peek the window. Purdy Curdy's going. He's looking if he can get the pickup, but he knows he cannot. He's holding the same door Nob Nob was, and the peek comes out once again. And Purdy Curdy's able to knock out BenQ5. So it is now a 1v1. Purdy Curdy taking on Riem. Going for the res, and unfortunately, Riem is able to spot him out. So Gale Force will win this 2v2. Riem will get the pickup on BenQ5, and our number one team is eliminated.
And then out of nowhere, another player, Shadox here, rolling in, decides not to go there, is actually going to try to get in the safety of the circle. He's also getting shot at. The trade-offs we've seen tonight, the 2v2s have been phenomenal, especially in these last two games. So we see another one there in the gas station. And what could have gone either way ends up in their favor, and they're going to heal up. You could see them off in the distance there, BenQ and Room, and they're going to be making their way back into the circle. They're actually in the circle now in the safety of what is the non-moving blue, but looking to get into the safety of the white, which is now making its way into the southern part there. So they're going to have some movements to make. So we see Sigsy here taking some shots on Little Prodigy.
Yeah, 19 players remaining. Sigsy has still not moved since we originally saw him at this compound. He's been holding it down, but it is officially no longer safe, so he will have to go south. He does have some pressure from Solace. He does have some pressure from Little Prodigy. He has a little pressure from his east as well, as he has a duo fairly close, and that's Shulk and Blackie, who are actually only about 50 meters away to his east. And they're going to have to move south into this zone too. This zone only holds one safe building and is held by DeCannon. Slex going down elsewhere. He was knocked out with an AWM headshot from Dace Live. Adanius dies. Blastic now has to try and make a play here as his teammate was shot in the face with an AWM. So he has to go for the pickup, but Dace is creeping and looking for angles. So he's going to push over and see if he can get into the zone while he has a player down, which is a very, very good play. Teammate staying behind, but Dace trying to capitalize. Blastic not going for the res yet, just proning, trying to play it safe, giving Dace plenty of time for the push.
Yeah, leaving time for the push, but also potentially finishing him off and then going in for the res. This is a tough decision to make. Now he's actually going to go for the res. This would be a great time for Daze to push in now. He waited so long and allowed Daze to come in, but Daze is actually going to lay down prone. And right now, these guys playing the safe game so far and not trying to make any moves. Daze finally going to push here now. We see in the background a lot of players low on health. They're starting to get chunked down. The blue coming in as well, and this is going to be a potential 2v2 here down in the southernmost part of the white.
Yeah, very strange. We're seeing Dace peek with the AWM. Rather than holding this AK as he comes over this hill, he knows the players are close. Now he switches over to the AK. So he's pushing over. Blastic is right to the right, about 20 meters in front of him. So he's creeping up. They're right above him now. The spot has come out. He has spotted both players, and he'll take the shots, but he doesn't get down to himself. Too much patience. Blastic was able to turn on Dace. And then they pop up, and they quickly take out Ziz. So Blastic and Slex able to defend their spot, and that, I think that's just being way over patient by Dace there. As we see more players go down, Dag is eliminated, Ziz is eliminated, 14 players remaining. The only building that is in play that is held by DeCannon will no longer be safe after this zone. Shulk and Blackie, the only two players in the current safe zone.
Yeah, they're making their way in, and we have Blast and Zex there will be able to make their way just north into the safety, but that's going to put them right on top of that team there. Around the circle, we're seeing the team start to come in, and they're all pretty well spread out at the moment, and we'll be able to get into that safe zone. although it does look like they might be running into some other players. You can see Shaddux there. He does have a few players in view. Little Prodigy there, and BenQ and Room are here as well, bunny hopping their way across the hillside. He's going to run right there, and he doesn't see them. They see him first. BenQ5 kills Shaddux with a headshot with a Mini 14. That was just nasty. They're having fun right now, it seems.
Yeah, and now they're heading into the zone. They do have the cannon behind them. We see legendary 117s moving into the zone too, but now the zone is moving. So now the pressure's on. All these teams are going to have to sprint in as fast as they possibly can. DeCannon's going to have to leave his building, or he'll sit there and try and med through. He does not try and med through, but he does get behind the blue, which is unfortunate. He's going to be ticking down this entire run now. He will have to stop and med, or he will die. So what'll happen here, Riem, BenQ5, Gale Force, they're holding down a safe spot in the zone. They're taking shots. DeCannon is immediately eliminated as he tries to run by BenQ5. Sigsy dying outside the player zone. All of a sudden, we're down to 5. Blackie is a solo. Riem, BenQ5, and Gale Force, a duo. Legendary does go down, and Idan is a solo. He is far outside the zone. So this is a 2v1, unless Idan can make a play onto Blackie, and then Gale Force doesn't have to do anything.
Yeah, he's running in as fast as he can. He looks like he's going to just get inside the blue, lays down, but he goes down to some gunshots, it looks like. Yeah, that's Blackie with the kill. Headshot with the scar as Idan tries to lay down prone and get a heal.
Yeah, we have seen that a few times, running into the zone, and as soon as you lay down, just immediately being shot and dying. So it is a 2v1. We have Gale Force and Riem and BenQ5 taking on Blackie, Cottenham, and this is going to be an interesting fight. The shots are out, some crazy Gale Force shots, so they put immediate pressure on, and they're going for this push. They're going to try and end this game as soon as possible. They need to be careful, though, because a little bit of overcompensation here, a little bit of over-pushing, not being safe, can result in a 1v1, and a 1v1, as we know, can go any way as they take the shots and finish the game. Gale Force, with 8 kills, 4 apiece for Riem and BenQ5, will take first in the final game of the night. Heyday.
Yeah, that was very impressive by them. And the fact, just how loose they appeared at the end of the game, just hopping around, running around, getting quick kills at the end there and sealing it off, surviving together at the end, both with 4 kills, just very balanced, very consistent gameplay from them. And that's going to help them move their way up. At the moment, they were sitting down a little bit in the leaderboard, but they are solid players, and they take the win in Game 3 tonight. Shulk Blackie with second place, and Idan and Legendary in third there, 2 kills apiece on that team. And that finishes Game 3 here in Week 3 of PUBG League's Dropzone 1, brought to you by Cooler Master and ViewSonic. I'm Heyday. I've been here with the Jabroni Bro all night. It's been an absolute blast. Chaos, car kills, just so much fun to cast tonight. Thanks for having us. And shout out to Skyline on the Spectator and his sweet, sweet penmanship skills. There it is. Much love to the scene. And we will see you next week with Week 4. And things are really starting to shape up on that leaderboard. I'm excited to see who climbs up and who unfortunately takes a fall as these games are played. 3 tonight and 3 next week. Jabroni?